Hello,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm doing well.
What's your name?
My name is Kunjo Moraidi, and a lawyer by profession and a business person as my side hustle.
What business do you do?
I'm into tech and renewable energy. Yeah.
What's the most challenging thing you've ever experienced and have overcome, or you're still overcoming anything?
For me, it's the issue of self-realization, and I've grown. First of all, I've grown in in a family whereby my dad is a minister with the Presbyterian Church. So I was brought up knowing, who God is and the Christian aspect part of it. But now, as you grow into adulthood during a transition, you get to meet friends and you get to experience life away from parents and away from what you are taught.
The pressure.
Yeah, the life pressure and everything, and you are brought, in the society at a certain level, in the aspect of wewe si kama wale wengine, so you have to be.
Because you're the pastor's child.
Exactly. So you have to be set aside, from the other guys. So now during transition, I'm always joking. Mimi hata kuhanya demi ilikuwa ngumu because that's the
Mtoto
kind of
wa pastor unafanya nini wewe?
exactly. But now during transition and as life continues, I get to know to realize what I really want in life, what I really want to pursue in life, and now that's what I'm working on personally at a personal level, on my legal field also, in my businesses. So self-realization, that's it for me. Yeah.
Uh, Challenges gani umeona in your profession, in your social life, any specific experiences?
For me, is the aspect of not trusting in your abilities. Because I've had to fight the inferiority complex, whereby you don't think you're the best in the pack, whereby they want somebody to do something and you're out there proposing another person to do it. They want a person to rush to a thing you can do, but you're out there proposing another person. So that's something which it's a great challenge in my career. It's a great challenge even in my personal life, whereby I never thought myself to be the best in the pack.
Anything you've been told or experienced that made you get to that point?
Oh,
Or you just grew up with it?
not really. I wasn't the best student in my high school. Coming from being the best student in my primary school and transitioning to, by then I was in Kagumo High School for that matter. And transitioning to Kagumo High School, you get the best student from the various schools around. So in my transition, then I got to realize that I wasn't the best. In fact, I'm always joking because I'm telling people I was among the last in close to my entire, high school life. And one day we do a composition and everything, and my best grade in English was a D.
Oh, and in primary school you are probably the best.
Exactly.
Ulikuwa unapata ngapi primary school?
I think on average, I think my worst was a 74 in English. That's in percentage form.
You go to Kagoma High School, you have a D.
I have a D, and the year I think was 2011. 2011, yeah. My teacher, who she used to teach us in English, was called Mrs. Gishero, and she walks into class, and I remember she said words which up to date I still remember them. She was so mad at me. Remember, also I was in the class which was not the best stream wise. So when she comes and she says a boys' school, and she says. Prudence, even if we will share bed with you, you wouldn't make it, you wouldn't pass in my, in English. And she put it in such a way I felt I was daft. And all this while, I wanted to be a lawyer, I wanted to be a politician, and
Your self-esteem was.
exactly, it was, ile from 100 to zero, like it was deflated.
It affected you all your life, Ama.
So now, good thing is there was teachers who were positive about my abilities in school. For some default reasons, I was always among the best in history, and I had this passion, in law and politics and everything. So my history teacher then was called Mrs. Gishema, and my biology teacher then was called Mrs. Muigwa. Those are two teachers I hold, close to my heart till to date. Because those are the people who talk to me out of, quote unquote, the deep shit that, my teacher who taught me English, put me in. But apparently, you don't get to shed off that character immediately. So it's gradual. It's gradual.
It takes time. You have to be deliberate about it.
Exactly. So transitioning to my adult life and everything, I wouldn't maybe pass exams and I'll remember Mrs. Gishero. But now it came to a point I realized I needed to have self, words of affirmation. And one thing I'm always positive about is my parents. All through my life, they have, so much positivity about my capabilities and my abilities than I have even, like I don't trust in
For
myself.
yourself more than they do.
Exactly. So this one day, and we close school, and my mom takes my report form, and she gets the results from my primary school, and she's like, I hate to imagine this is the same guy. And I gave her an analogy that I knew I wouldn't pass in English. I wasn't the best in English. And the analogy I gave, you wouldn't do maize, in some counties like, by then I think to our district, you wouldn't plant maize in a place like Marsabit and expect it to grow. So it so happens she had again to talk me out of it. So for me, I have supportive parents. I've had supportive parents all through. When life has really been hard, and the prodigal son. I'm always saying I'm the prodigal son. My parents, even at my age now, are so welcoming. Things have been difficult.
Nakwambia wewe umezeeka sasa, jitegemee.
Apparently no. Apparently no. Because in fact, my dad is my best friend. In the age that I'm in, if there's one man I can give, accolades to is my dad and my mom. They have really been supportive to me. They're supportive to our siblings. And that's what has built now, the push, you got to be better. You got to be better. You got to be better. And this is a challenge I'm posing even to parents. Don't abandon, your kids when they need you most, because trust you me, my dad is my best friend, and having a father as a best friend, for a guy, you get to transition to life easily.
You feel like you have his blessing and all that.
Exactly. So my transition to life has not been that difficult, if I may say, because he has been welcoming. You go try out things, they fail. You just come and we talk them out. A good example is there's a time I moved out and things even never worked out for me. I spent all my savings with one of my friends in starting a business, never worked out.
What business was it?
It was, I think it was briquettes. We are kind of quote unquote a franchise kind of. You're thinking about solar and briquettes and everything. And my dad, and apparently by then I had, dropped off, you'll say dropped off from campus, finished everything in campus, but I couldn't graduate. And I remember after everything failed, my dad is like, you just need to come home, re-strategize and think about life again. So he's not the kind of man who is like, usirudi kwangu, hapana, umetumia pesa yangu, nini nini. So I go back home and he tells me you just need to go back to the drawing board. So,
Don't be afraid to start all over again.
exactly. And, words of affirmation, and he walks me through that phase of life. And by achieving that, I think I've not been stressed out, and I've had a safe landing spot whereby I even hadn't thought I would, I'll be doing my postgraduate diploma in law. I'm doing my customs. Like I'm into education more than I was before, and all this is because my parents they have been the real support, even with my age. As you can see,
Feel
Nicola.
confident about yourself and everything you put your mind into.
Exactly. And these are challenge to all parents. Uh, wacha mtoto wako ni mtoto wako, and you help your kids.
Kuja aseme anataka kuwa DJ.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to give an analogy,
Wewe ni daktari, wewe yako si DJ.
let's not push our parents, our kids to what they really don't want to do in life. I have a sibling who we thought he'll be the engineer in the house and everything, but guy comes and is like he wants to be into photography. And surprisingly, my parents were like, "Yeah, you go ahead and do it, and we shall pay the school fees and everything." And the guy is so creative, and So I find the guy, he is in a better position now than he was before, because my parents have really supported him in in that idea. Yeah,
He's confident about himself and what he's doing.
exactly. So the other challenge for me again for parents is they shouldn't even compare kids. We are all different. We all have different capabilities. Prudence will be a lawyer. Their sibling maybe will be in customs and commerce and everything. There's another one who'll be into photography and DJing. These are different. These are different personas. These are different people. Give them the support that they require, and don't be surprised if the DJ flourishes more than the lawyer. I mean, it's all
It's
about
fueled by passion.
exactly, and that's one challenge I would really urge, and I'm always urging parents. Anytime I'm called upon to talk to parents and their siblings and everything, do what your heart really needs. Find that passion in it. Surprisingly, I really wanted to be a lawyer back in the year 2003. I never knew who is a lawyer, but I was driven by PLO, and he was a man I was always like, I want to be like that man.
Lumumba.
Exactly, by PLO Lumumba back in 2003, and actually that was the year I really talked to my God as young as I was, and I told God, I'll want to be a lawyer and a politician. I'll want to join Kagumo High School, and I'll want to join the University of Nairobi.
You manifested that.
Yes, and
It's all come true.
definitely the three. I mean, there were four things, and the last one actually was I'll want to be the president of this republic,
I believe we're going to be.
and
I
hopefully,
could be sitting with the seventh
definitely.
or the sixth.
I'm really praying it comes to be because for me, it has been a journey. I went to Kagumo High School. I studied law in campus, and these things are falling in place. I studied at the University of Nairobi. It's all about the manifestation, prayer, and having
Trusting the process.
and you trust the process. It's not simple because getting to where I am, I've tried some things, I've failed. I've tried doing some things extra other than in law, I failed. But what has kept me going is the aspect of the parent being, keep on pushing. It gets better at the end of it. And maybe a last shot on that is the other challenge. I'll challenge my fellow youths is we want to really get things, a microwave mentality. It takes time. Studying law, I'm still, in the process of, becoming that advocate, although I would really want to be. So it really takes time, for
Kimbilia wash nini nini.
utalia. Hiyo ni ile furaha kidogo, siku mbili tatu miezi, and inafika mwisho. But what you've really worked on has a firm foundation to it. That's one thing I've come to really appreciate in life. And don't be afraid of starting all over again. You get to a break and it's not working, you go back, re-strategize, and start all over again. This is something I've seen. I'm always one day in my week. I'm in a rehab center that I go talk to friends, and one thing I'm always challenging them is don't be afraid to always start all over again. So you keep on procrastinating, napana, stucky, and 5 years are out, 10 years are out. But if you hold everything that is pulling you back, and you choose to be the different person, or you choose to be the person you really want to be in life, it's possible, it's achievable, and it only requires a lot of discipline, prayers, and a lot of hard work to it. So don't be afraid to start all over again. I've been in a situation whereby, even in love life, even in marriage life and everything, you could choose to work on what you have, or you break from what you have and start all over again. After all,
It's never too late.
never too late. For me, it's never too late. I can attest to it. And once you start all over again and you realign yourself to God, God will always align yourself. God will always align you to what you need in life. I didn't say I haven't struggled. I've struggled to some extremes, but the moment I realized, the prodigal son, and go back home, and I'm told you really need to get hold of yourself, and
Parents are welcoming, supportive, and all that.
exactly, and you really need to get hold of yourself, and build from here you left, and Mungu ni nani? He has been aligning me to what I really feel I need or what I thought I'll need. The last one again is being patient. And the aspect for me of being patient is We may pray a lot and we may work thinking we deserve, being at point A more than maybe any other person. But surprisingly, God knows best at what point do you need to be at point A or at point B. So don't feel you deserve more than the other person because you really don't know the kind of journey Prudence has had as compared to what Goro has had. We have all have had different phases of life,
Unique.
and we are all unique. It's all about even if you were to talk about the DNA, we are all different from our siblings, from to even the twins. We are all different. Craft your path, walk your path, build your path, and be committed and dedicated to it. It's doable, it's achievable, but be patient with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself, and again, don't be too soft on yourself.
You get there.
Trust the process, you'll definitely get there. Na hii siku yetu hii ni ile tunasemanga, it's a motivational talk. This is what life is. This is what life is. I've seen guys who, closest business today, but a few months down the line, the guys are, it's positive for them. I've seen even ladies, I have friends who are into the design, what is it called? A lot of, design, kushona nguo and everything. And business collapsed with COVID, but, they rebuild and they're doing pretty much okay than they used to do pre-COVID. So it's just a self-realization. You really need to get yourself in order. And getting yourself in order is you need to lose those negative habits. You need to lose those friends. You need to to make avenues that will make you get to that better position. You'll need even to realign yourself with what you really think will bring you to that point. So, and for you to grow, you have to lose. For you to get, for me to be in a position to be the Della Cream, I have to lose that which is holding me back. So growth is not easy. Growth is painful. The worst we can never arrive to is nile kufika. Because the moment you arrive, the moment you get comfortable, you forget about
Mark time too.
it's being on a rocking chair. Uko busy but hakuna mali unasonga, hakuna progress. That's the worst thing you'll ever get in life. And if it's not challenging enough, I'm always saying this, if it's not challenging enough, if you're not losing your sleep over it, it's not worth your time. It's not worth your time. So get things in order, work on yourself, and pray a lot. I'm a Christian and I'm a firm believer in prayers. Pray a lot and keep asking God for His forgiveness because hii ni dunia naye
Kubaya.
ni kubaya.
Amegeuka.
Kubaya.
Just humans with no humanity.
Exactly. So we omba, ambia Mungu hii safari akusaidia na akushikilia kwa sababu things are not as easy as we want them to be. Na unaweza ujenge alafu ufike mahali upate the person you trusted so much has really betrayed you. So watu waombe sana juu wenyewe imeisha naye.
Kuwaonyesha mahali snakes wako.
Exactly, but for me it's doable. So whatever religion you ascribe to, I'm a Christian, yes, but I don't draw people to what I believe in. So if you're a Muslim, if you're a Hindu, if you're a Christian, the only people I don't talk much about ni pagans. You know, atheists, because I really don't know what they ascribe to. But if you ascribe to a supreme being, connect yourself to it. Mwisho, it comes to be. Na tuache kucompare. Hii comparison ndo sijui nini. There are people
yako ni
unique. Good thing or bad thing is we all break the glass ceiling at different times. Some of us, we in fact, if I was to use my primary school classmates and my high school classmates, some have really settled. Life seems to be moving positively for them. And then there's myself. I'm really also trying to understand what aspect of law I want to really practice in.
Comparison is a thief of joy, you know that.
So definitely now, if you start doing that, you even lose trust in God. You lose trust in yourself. Na safari yenyewe haina hamu,
Kwani mimi Mungu unioni na nipita tu.
Exactly. So hii comparison, wacha. In fact, and the other guys now who really think I'm living the best of life they'll want to. So now that brings me to the analogy of it's a 100-meter race. There's a person who is at the starting point. Kuna mwingine bado hajaona starting point ni wapi. Kuna mwenye tena amefika pale hivyo kwa finishing line. We are all at different stages.
Tuna kutangulia sio kufika. Ati juu ameanza atamalizia vizuri.
Exactly. So it's you do your life.
We are hoping they wamalizie vizuri.
No, definitely we can't wish watu hatuwezi wish watu vibaya, but definitely what you think you don't have, kuna mwingine anasema ili ningekuwa place yenye Prudence ako, ili ningekuwa place yenye Goro wako, because what you don't get to appreciate the importance of that well until it runs dry. So ile siku utapata hauna ndo utaanza ku appreciate. So why get to that point? And you can appreciate the process and journey as early as now.
Bora uko hai utaweza tu.
Yeah, and keep pushing. For me, it's keep working on yourself on every day. There's a book I'm currently reading, and it's talking about you are the mountain, or the mountain is you. Like you are the only inhibition to the success you really feel or believe you want in life. Like we mwenyewe ndo, it's like you've tethered yourself. Ukijifungua, you believe in yourself, you work on yourself, you work in the process, like ujitume.
Unajua tulianza kama mbegu. We don't think about it that way. Tulianza kama mbegu, we are supposed to grow.
Definitely. Na haupandi leo unavuna kesho. Unapanda leo, it's a process, so you do the aspects of germination. I think there was sijui water, sijui air and hot. So the same thing about life. We must water our dreams, we must work on our dreams. Kuna mahali itafika tutatoa magugu, those are zinaitangwaje, the weeds. Kuna mahali itafika tena tutapiga dawa.
Challenges.
Exactly. So what you have, understand, for you to grow, you must do some of these things, and don't belittle yourself. Safari si rahisi. If some of us were to table completely what you've really experienced in life, I don't think what people see is not what easy the journey has been, because there's so many things that have happened. It's good when people to understand you are classmates. Since I saw you last in 14 years in my life, there are so many things that have
You're not telling them we were classmates in primary school.
in primary school, yeah, and it's that, I think it's over 14 years ago, and you get to realize there are things which have really changed, and the prudence maybe you knew in primary school is not the same prudence you know now. I could have been maybe naive by then, but maybe as things grow and as they progress and everything, things
Kwa sugu.
yeah, things are changing. Things are changing, but hopefully for for the better. Fact is, it's a seed which must be watered, which must be taken care of. That which it needs at different seasons, it must be, lazima ipewe. Kama ni pruning, ifanywe. Kama ni hiyo ni grafting. Grafting for me is socializing, with people who will build you up. If you find you're the best person in your club, just know you're not in the right club, because you're not learning from them.
Always someone better than you.
Exactly. So if you ascribe to that, kila kitu tukitaka consultation wakili you must be in a place whereby you are also benefiting and learning. Symbiosis for me, I give you, you give me. Lazima kuwe na kule kusaidiana hiyo transaction, hiyo lazima ikuwe and transaction. Now I want to say transaction on the positive. Lazima tusaidiana. This is life, and it has no manual to it. They have lived mine, you may not live yours as I have, but they are the basic components of life. Basic components